Coming up on Talk is Cheap, we talk about Graham Hancock and older civilizations. I love the subject, and I hope you do too. Talk is cheap, where cheap is talking. Talk is cheap. My name is Dusty Long, and I'm having a wonderful day. I really am. With me to my direct left is Dan Hohlfeld.
Dusty, how are you?
Not bad yourself, sir.
Oh, fucking fabulous.
It's a gorgeous day out.
Very gorgeous.
Oh my God. I thought we should record outside for that matter.
We always talk about it, we never do it.
That's our fault, really, I guess, everybody.
It is a pain in the ass to get all the shit out there. But
there's a lot of shit.
We could just set up phones and record on phones.
We should do that sometime. And then to my very far left is Pete Halbleib.
Good evening, sir. How you doing, Dusty?
Oh, you know what? Always good. Started drinking a little bit. You know, got some sun today.
Yeah.
Got a little bit on the head. I don't know if I turned a little red or not.
I was thinking your color was coming around nicely.
Well, it's just going to burn. That's the problem.
I sat outside for a while too, but I didn't barbecue like I thought it would.
That's all right.
You know, the worst thing about turning a tan is you get that white under, you know, so you're constantly trying to turn and...
You're supposed to rotate yourself like a hot dog.
Yeah. Slowly, like a rotisserie, right?
Yep, yeah. 15 minutes on each side, and then you're well done.
And then you're good to go.
I just drive around with the sunroof down, or open, just kind of like sunning this side, and then I'll put this out the window. But the problem is the sun will come down halfway on my head, so I have two options. I either turn this way, so I don't sun it, or I drive over there so people are driving by, and I'm like... So anyway, today we're going to cover Graham Hancock. This was what was that? Submitted to us as a topic by Christian Payne. So I went ahead and I chose this because he believes in these ancient old civilizations that were highly advanced and then got wiped out, which is something I actually believe in.
We've heard that theory before, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Yeah, and it's something that I can kind of buy into.
So this might be pretty good for you because history turns me off. So.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, it turns me on amongst other things. Yeah. Quickly, I want to give a shout out to a couple people. Well, just one person right now for giving us a couple of nice comments and whatnot. That's Mario UFO. Man, thank you very much for the comments. Appreciate it all the time.
He's looking for pictures of your cousin. Just so you know, we were talking about that before the show.
That's all he was talking about.
Well, I can't help myself. Yeah, so you guys leave comments and we like them, or even if we don't give a shit. We'll give you guys a shout out if you ask, and Mario asked for one, so there you go, bro. So getting into this right away, because I'm actually pretty excited about this. Graham Hancock's an archaeologist, and there's so much he's done. He has a documentary, many documentaries out there, but... and I got the wiki up here. So blah, 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 this and that. And he's a journalist. So he describes himself as an unconventional thinker who raises controversial questions about humanity's past. He's wrote 2 books now. And like I said, he's got plenty of documentaries, which I've watched 6, 7, 8 of them, like 5, 6 hours worth.
Really?
Oh yeah, I absolutely do. Because this is the stuff I buy into. So... he talks about, and you know, I know I'm going to probably hit this because we got a finite amount of time to do an episode. So, Christian, if I don't do a good job, I apologize, but I'm trying to do the best I can.
Nail them in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. I love reading them. So, just briefly, he believes that there was an ancient civilization that was highly advanced. And then what happened was that there was a comet, a meteor that hit, and it caused a wide flood. Now, we all know about the Great Flood. That's in almost every religion around the world that talks about, you know, of a great flood that wiped out pretty much all of humanity.
This is the Noah's Ark one?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Indians have it.
If you go on the Christian, belief it's Noah's Ark, but the other religions mention it.
I mean, almost all of them talk about a great flood.
Yes, they do.
So he talks about this. Now, what he's done is he's gone to Egypt. Oh, I'm going to get this wrong because I don't have it. But anyway, he goes all these ancient sites, and then like the Mayans, the Philippines, Egypt, Stonehenge, and all these other places. And he goes out there and he looks at the way the cities were built, and most of them are all built on star constellations, right?
Sure. Yep. Yeah.
Because we all know the Great Pyramids. It looks like Orion's belt.
Yep.
Okay, so fine and dandy.
Wait, you're saying it looks like it, or what do you?
It's laid out in the same way. The 3 pyramids are laid out in the Orion's
star.
belt. Yep, the same
all
star.
Right, gotcha.
So he found out that all these ancient sites have the same, type of thing where all these buildings are set up in this way to what's the word I'm looking for? Coincide. That'll work. Coincide with the stars. So what he's done was he's taken, the way the Earth rotates is it takes 152 years, I believe, and I could be wrong. And it acts on that, unless you're a flat earther, it rotates around like this, right? Yeah. So the stars actually change and move. So what he's done is he's taken all these places and he's graphed them all out and said, okay, what constellation goes with this? And to make them all match, and this is crazy, all of them date back to 10,500 BC. Not the Egyptian pyramid, but the Sphinx. The Sphinx looks like some lion thing. In Europe, there's a bull that the Druids put up on a green hill, and that aligns with the rise of the bull constellation, but only 10,500 years ago. All these have the same thing. It's all 10,500, 10,500, 10,500. So, of course, he's getting laughed at pretty much by the modern archaeology idea.
Because one thing that you didn't mention early on is that his work comes with a lot of controversy and debate and discussion around it as well. Yep. I've heard of this 10,500
BC
number in the past and how these things, because they don't necessarily align today.
Yep.
You have to go back and look at plate tectonics and shifts and drift and stuff, and it aligns to that time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's really amazing because 10,000 BC, I mean, we're talking about, I don't know, I think it was like dinosaurs still or some shit like that, Okay. So you're way back.
Okay, 10,000 BC.
I don't know.
I just want to clarify there were no dinosaurs.
Okay, what were they?
Left.
That'd be the.
Don't ask me. I don't know history.
It'd be before the last ice age, though.
Yep. Okay. There may have been a woolly mammoth floating around, maybe.
Or maybe right before him.
The dinosaurs we're talking.
That was hundreds of BC. Yeah, my fault.
Hundreds, if not.
Well, then
millions.
that all depends too if you believe that dinosaurs all went extinct at the same time.
Yeah, and I know you can go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I don't want to.
That's why I was cautious because some people may say, "Hey, wait a minute."
Because we have the footprints with the dinosaurs. Yeah. So anyway, that really intrigued me. Now, and like I've said before, and you guys probably know, I believe that there's a possibility that humans have been advanced in the past.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
And then they were wiped out. Now, he believes that there was a great meteorite or comet that caused the Great Flood and wiped everybody out. This was laughed at. And then, of course, if you do think about it, well, if a meteorite hit today, it would pretty much wipe everything out. Or, it would cause earthquakes. It would cause volcanoes to erupt. You'd have another ice age. It would cause tsunamis and all these other things, which would wipe out a lot of
even
what's
something
left.
like a pole shift would. Something like that.
And then, of course, if you look, TC and I were just playing a game. What's it called? Horizon Zero Dawn, right? Horizon Zero Dawn is a video game that we've been playing. And it's not based on the same thing, but it shows civilization in the future. And all you got left is some roads and a couple pieces of buildings that, in a couple hundred years would just go away.
Yeah.
So
Give it 500 years, so it's gone.
So I'm not going to get into any more of his history. You all can do the research because there's so much. I want to talk about what's happening now with Graham. And in this article here, which was published May 4th, 2017, so quite recently, the stunning archaeological find vindicates renegade civilization historian Graham Hancock, author of Magician of Gods, which is his newest deal. How do I scroll this fucker? I forget. Okay. I want to do this one first. Okay. My fault, Dan. I know you set that up for me.
Yeah.
So in Turkey, they have...
He'll catch it in editing.
Yeah, he'll catch that in editing.
Maybe.
Maybe. In Turkey, they just found this article, and this is at the Smithsonian.com. Does it give me a date? It's
6,000 years ago.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the date it was published.
Yes, it does, Dusty.
There it is, November 2008.
Okay, so
I just watched. I just watched something on this, and just recently though, this has been found. It's the massive karst stones are about 11,000 years old. This predates the Stonehenge by 6,000 years. It's got metal tools and even pottery. There it is. The megaliths predate Stonehenge by some 6,000 years. And I want to show you the pictures.
Real quick on Stonehenge, did you guys know that they actually, in like the past few years, they actually took them down and then reconstructed them?
What?
Because they fell down and they brought them back up.
I knew that they had been over the years had to restack some.
Yeah,
of them
that's what
and
it was.
stuff.
Restack.
Yep,
that's
and things like that. Yeah, I have heard that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Couldn't believe it when I found that.
Yep.
side
Oh my
issue.
God, this one doesn't have pictures. Maybe this other one does?
Some dude with a backhoe in there just stacking them back up. Man, nobody will notice.
Oh, I'm so upset. I have the wrong. Well, I have the right articles, but so anyway, the pictures on these megaliths are hugely detailed. I mean, not something you'd expect. Like cave drawings or whatnot. Yeah. They're very, very well done. And on the right there.
Dusty, can I ask?
Go ahead.
Were those cave paintings? Were they of the buffalo?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I've run across that again, and of these very intricate buffaloes, because it also says, well, wait a minute, these humans and art, this was so advanced artistically compared to what other humans were for the time as well, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. It's really crazy.
I don't know if I'm confusing two different topics there or not, but I've come across that as well.
There it is. All right, so this is talking about this article, which is the newest, the earliest one, is talking about the same thing. But the cave carvings and inscriptions on the stones indicate they are astronomical in nature, giving weight to theories as used as a guide for prehistoric astronomers. I can't say that word.
Astronomers?
Astronomers.
That was a clean pronunciation. Holy
astronomers.
I can't say it. There's another one I can't say. And as you've been watching the show, you'd realize I can't say
you're about
that
4
one.
beers in, so.
Yeah, thank God. The carvings tell stories, including one about a space object, a comet, that fell from the sky and nearly wiped out all humans. So here is what they're saying is vindicating him, and his story is we actually have, megalithic, a structure that tells a story about a comet.
Recorded, a comet story. Yeah.
All right,
okay.
So now to get into the rest of it, I think which is pretty cool is his theory is the comet came down, wiped out all these civilizations, but a few, out of hundreds of thousands, say, or whatever it happens to be, there was only a few thousand or 100 left. Now, they were all seafaring. So, I mean, all these people have been, traveling around the sea already and great shipbuilders. So what he says is the last people, they went out, and what would you do if you're the last few 100,000 people left or whatnot? You would go out and try to, repopulate.
Procreate.
And that's the reason.
Sorry, yeah. I'm down with that.
And that's the reason why you have the same type of shipbuilding in Egypt as you do in India. And that's the reason why that all these align with stars. And that's the reason why these other civilizations like the Maya, who said they came across like Machu Picchu in these places that were already built, and they just built on top of it. That's why they're all aligned that way. And there you go, right? So all these monolithic, structures that we have around the world were there way before. And
the recent ones that are 3,000 years old were just built on top of old foundation.
Exactly right.
Wow.
They built the pyramids around the Sphinx. The Sphinx was already there. The Sphinx has water weathering.
Yeah, which great flood, indication of a great flood.
So they know that for sure that those two don't coincide at the same time frame?
Well, there's arguments, of course. There's arguments,
but it's fairly accepted that the Sphinx was not built at the same time as the pyramids.
Yes.
Was built much earlier.
Yes, that is, and the Sphinx has water weathering, which would only occur 10,500
Yes,
BC. So I think the guy's really kind of onto something. I really do. And then of course, because I got to wrap this all up, and I really feel bad because this is a huge subject. I mean, if you believe an iota of what I'm saying, I tell you to look into this guy's documentaries. They are really well done. And then I came across this. God, was that like 6, 7, 8 months ago? I came across
Is this the glass bottle thing?
No, this is one of the things I want to cover.
I don't know when you came across it then.
So, 25,000-year-old buildings found in Russia. Now they call these the Flintstone buildings because, as you can plainly tell, they kind of look this way.
Those are not the same buildings?
No, these are something they just.
Each one of those is different. I'm looking, right? Yes.
Yep. Each one of these are different.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can tell by look at the rocks across the top.
Yep.
They're all different.
I would say they're done by the same manufacturer, though.
Yeah, and this is funny because
I would agree.
25,000 years ago. This is just nuts. They're megalithic, so they're just one huge, massive piece of stone that was somehow lifted, which is again crazy. And this is just found recently in Russia, and I just love that. That's nuts. And again, this comes back to like Machu Picchu and all these other places that we talk about, these megalithic structures and cities that you can't fit a piece of paper through the seams. We can't even do that in today's, technology. And we're coming across stuff like this that's ancient. How the hell? Now this is.
Did anybody
crazy.
say anything about being inside of these if they felt like more higher energy?
I didn't read anything about that, to be honest.
Because I can't remember what the hell. There was this thing where it's like 2 rocks and then a rock over the top. If you actually sit under it, you actually feel like a higher meditation.
There is something to be said about large rocks in general. My girlfriend. Sorry.
Why'd you stutter?
Well, I didn't want to necessarily like bring her into this mix,
When
but
you said large rocks.
yeah, but it is very I'll say like receptive to that sort of stuff. And
oh, really?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah. And she takes the time to visit with rocks and
I suppose it
talk
depends
to
on
them
the
stuff.
rock structure too. Like
Yeah, I don't know.
like crystals are good for meditation and stuff. So
yeah, and anyway, she's really sensitive toward that stuff. It's kind of cool.
oh really?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I practice Buddhism. I'm not a very good Buddhist, but I like the idea. And they have in India and those places, they have those conical shaped temples, all usually made out of stone. A lot of them are. And that's where they said the Buddha, monks would go and meditate because it would give them enlightenment. It kind of focuses everything. I don't know, man. You're going to go out and you're going to make your own opinions and everything. And we're really here as the show just kind of
See,
talk
like
about
that
it,
stone
debate it,
there
but-
though, it's like why would you lay something like that? It's like there's got to be some significance of.
I mean, you're constantly looking over your shoulder for saber-toothed tigers and fucking bears and shit.
You're
And
hide
you're,
behind 2 pillars with a big gap in between.
yeah, and you're out there putting this up. What possesses somebody to do that?
No, I don't disagree.
But I guess also if it's that long ago, there could be other part to the structure that's missing.
What I find is how circular the entrances are. I'll call them the entrances.
It's
I
that
don't know.
foxhole.
Well,
Yeah.
And how do they make something? I mean, you come
Yeah,
across
how
that.
do you
What's
cut
that
that?
place where they have all the stones for Machu Picchu? Where they think it was the quarry was, or where they started them. We were talking about the
Oh
other day.
yeah, yep. And they saw broken ones and stuff.
Yeah.
and-
Which one?
Punku.
Punupuku. Yeah. Well, it's all the same. They're all monolithic sites that we can't replicate the same thing today. But yeah, I mean, how did they drill that?
But yeah, it's like they got a CNC machine back then or something.
Right? And that's impossible.
I could see them somehow like tracing, say, a cross section of a log out there.
This goes back to
But
remember
then-
that other episode. What was I talking about? Where I showed the guy that talked about the stuff in between the matter, the molecule. His name's below. Anyway, he had the laser etched in the stone. It's like, what the hell did they do back then to etch laser?
Yes,
like
yeah,
that?
right.
It was
that-
impossible.
So that was so detailed, or it was just somebody with a lot of time on their hands.
Well, that's just the
Nassim
thing.
Haramein.
Because when they go ahead and they talk about these things and you show these perfectly cut straight lines, these 90-degree angles, and these perfectly drilled holes, they're like, oh, it was either naturally made, which we all know is
Bullshit.
hardly ever happens, or, well, they did it by sanding and whatnot. But they also say these people are working with stone tools at the same time. It's how much time and effort you would take to do something like that, and then how to lift it and everything else. It's crazy.
It's just, why would you take the time to do that?
But granted, if you don't have anything else going on.
Oh, you mean like foraging?
Well, I mean,
and
trying
for
to survive.
food
Well,
and
no,
so,
like
yeah.
you got a group that's gonna go forage, and then it's like you got this other group that's like, okay, build a house or whatever, and then they're just fucking around for how many years? So that's their job.
Yeah. Yeah, many hands make light work, right? And just
Nice.
keep.
So what you're saying is when we get bored, we just start fucking going out there.
Well,
and do-
boredom is, Well,
I'm gonna cover this
one
in a
of the
couple weeks.
Ingredients for innovation. Right?
I'm gonna talk about Cora Castle, so
Oh yeah, it's kind of
so I'll kind
sweet.
of go in on that a little bit. So.
Oh, right on.
Now here I got one last thing. Here's where I fuck myself every time. I'm the skeptic, so what I do is I research something and then I research the opposite side because I want both stories,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
So I came across this guy, and I don't have the art. I can't re-find it, which pisses me off. But I found this YouTube video of a man moving monolithic stones like this with nothing more than a couple pieces of 2x4 and a rock. And I shit you not, I was amazed. So he takes this rock. It's this, I don't know, cylindrical little thing, and he puts it down. And then he cuts this stone out of a larger block. It falls down onto this little rock, and he uses that. Puts 2 pieces of plywood or 2x4s here, another longer one here. Attaches it all, and then he can sit there and pivot that massive stone on that
Oh,
little
sure.
rock
Yeah,
underneath. Now
yeah.
that makes sense, right?
That's levers and
So then he
fulcrums.
does
And
this-
balancing the gravity of the own object.
And then he does the same thing by raising obelisks. So here I am trying to convince everybody, or as many people as I can, that we were advanced at one time, so it makes sense. But then I do the research, and I just bone the hell out of myself. So he he has this really long cement, 100-ton, deal, and he's going to put it in a hole, just like an obelisk would, right? And we always wonder how the hell they got him up there. So what's he do? He balances it all on wood, and then he starts pulling, 2x4s out of one side. At the same time, he keeps on putting buckets of stone and cement or whatever on the other side. So what happens is he removes the structure here, puts weight here. What happens? The thing tips up, slides right down into the hole he's got. He pulls everything out, puts it in dirt. Now he's got a monolithic statue sitting up there. It's 100 tons. He did it all by himself.
I don't know. Why else does he do that,
see that.
Because he's retired and he's got nothing else to do.
Yeah, he's a retired engineer.
Yeah,
That's no shit. I think he works for freaking NASA or some shit. So could you do something like this? Technically, from what I've seen, I suppose you probably could.
Yeah.
Do I want to say that? No, because I don't believe that we're the most advanced civilization in the universe, or or the only ones ever, or some shit like that. So, but I did my research and I did the opposite side of it. And
I mean, when you think of advanced technologies too, I mean that isn't that advanced. We sit here with a preconceived notion that Homo sapiens or our predecessors were these dumb, like, ooga booga, running around kind of people. Well, that's not necessarily the truth. And this may be very advanced for the time, but, by today's standard, you could
almost do it yourself. And that's the problem. Because
but it's impressive nonetheless. I mean, it goes to the intelligence of people that were living back then,
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I don't know why they would do it, though. I mean, you got to figure if you're going to build, say it's a storage for grain or something, you got to figure it'd be easier to build with wood. You got to figure
they're
that.
not thinking 1,000 years into the future. You'd think it'd be way easier to just drop trees, right?
Right? I mean, that's
maybe there were, and maybe these were like special ones or something.
Yeah,
and the
maybe
ones
those
with the
got
trees,
destroyed.
are just.
That's a real good
and
point.
maybe there wasn't trees around there. I don't know. But at the same time, I mean, you could use grass, you can use clay, you can use wood. I mean, there's so many other building materials.
Yeah.
Why use a massive 100-ton stone?
They had trees the size of Devil's Tower.
Yeah, Oh, yeah.
Well,
that
would
reached
take-
up into space, right? Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make. I mean, I could say so. Even if we say you could do it today, why would you do it back then? There's really
You would seem like it would be an awful lot of wasted energy for what you're getting out of it. But
and like you said, if you're hunting gathering, like we say, why would you waste so much energy? I mean, considering just the amount of calories you would have to burn and then replenish with more food to do that, I don't know.
yeah, you'd think you could hollow out a tree much easier or something,
Or find a fucking cave, or dig a goddamn hole.
Yeah,
So, there's that back and forth that I'm always going through when it comes through this, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it good?
It's always good.
Yeah. I mean, I like this. I mean, thank you again, Christian. I really appreciated
That's interesting.
Yeah, I loved it. I did so much research, and like I said, Graham does so much and his books and everything else that I can't really do it justice in 20 minutes. But if you guys are any interested in this, definitely look that up. That's some good stuff. Thanks again for Mario UFO for the comment. Appreciate that. And anybody else who comments, we always appreciate them.
Yeah, it's been fun on the comments section. Boy, I'm
We got a few haters
lot
once in a
about it.
while, but
Yeah, that's
Well, yeah,
all right.
and then
you're doing
my
something
best
right.
hater is sitting right there. Hashtag bald guy sucks. Use it all the place over.
Bald guy sucks.
Thanks, buddy.
I don't think you're stupid, though, just for the record, Dusty.
I appreciate it. I don't try to come off as stupid, and I think I'm halfway intelligent, but sometimes.
You know,
We don't
all
like
the
to
dumb
think
ones
so.
always
Yeah.
do. Love you, brother.
And I'm going to say to that, the information was up there, but I had all these notes I wanted to fucking use. all right?
Yeah, no,
Just like
that
the
you
ones I wanted
lost?
to use today that I've lost. So
Yeah.
I was so pissed.
Convenient.
Technology hates me at times. Yeah.
convenient.
Oh, yeah. What
There
a
you go.
coincidence. Yet again, he loses these great notes. You know what? It's probably
What?
the freaking government shutting them down, man.
With all the research that I do on all these topics, there are days where I'm searching shit and my computer like freeze up. I'm like, oh, fuck, they finally found
That's
it.
Windows. It's called
yeah.
Windows.
Thanks, Bill Gates, you
You're
asshole.
Apple, you son of a bitch.
All right, take us out.
Yeah. Hey, I want to thank y'all for tuning in and spending some time with us. I hope you all had a great time. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, thumbs down, comments, and we hope to see you later. Take it easy.